Hello. We got Paul, Dale, and Tom in the house. Not sure who else. I am in an undisclosed location in Michigan. I'm trying the YouTube app live stream this time. Prior to this, I was using StreamYard. Not exactly sure what the difference is going to be. But we got David there. Good to see everybody. TAB videos in the house. What's up is here. All right, good to see everybody. Like I said, I'm in an undisclosed location in Michigan. Anyhow, good to see everybody here. A couple things I want to talk about today because I'm rather confused about something. I'm not sure if everybody is waiting for the big, beautiful bill for suppressors so that $200 tax stamp is gone. I'm not sure if there's just very little interest in it. I'm not sure if people are interested, but it's going to be something they're just going to do eventually. All that's rather confusing to me because when I see all these manufacturers making suppressors that never even touched suppressors before, it seems to be a thing because, well, the wait time in my case, went from 10 and a half months to 2 weeks for my second one to about 4 days for my third suppressor. And yes, I agree with Rhino says they need to get rid of the NFA. I agree, but that's not where we're at right now. I wish, but we're just not there. I think in order to get the thing through and somebody in the Fed chair, whatever, said you can't do that. They did get rid of the tax though, so that's pretty cool. But it seems to me that when I reviewed a shotgun suppressor made by Yankee Hill Yankee Hill Machine called the Victra 12, I thought this thing was just awesome. It was very simple. You could add different lengths of the suppressor, and nobody seemed to care. Nobody really watched. Nobody had much to say about it. It was just not a big deal. And the way they did that, I thought was pretty innovative. I thought that was awesome. Now, there's one thing I'm learning here, and that is that on StreamYard you can hit the comment and it'll show up down below, but here you can't. So that's okay. Can't have them in Illinois. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Illinois, what a joke. I can't stand even driving through Illinois. I can't stand it. You know, I go there and immediately I'm a felon. Right when I cross the line. I've gone through Illinois a couple times to go to Iowa on a couple occasions. Where else was I? Somewhere in Missouri. Went through Illinois. 2 or 3 or 4 days is the new norm. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, Craig. 3 or 4 days is the new norm for a suppressor, which is how it should be. But I'm just wondering if nobody really cares because all these manufacturers, here's an example. CMMG is making suppressors. All right, CMMG, Central Missouri Machine Gun. That's what that stands for. Central Missouri Machine Gun is now producing suppressors. Yankee Hill Machine, they've been doing it for a while. We're seeing other ones. Well, obviously, Silencer Co. I did a factory tour there. That place was crazy. Man, they're serious. But they had a Salvo 12 shotgun suppressor, which was pretty cool. But I think this Yankee Hill Machine Victra 12 is even better. Just because you could change the length of it. It goes all the way from 12 inches to 6. And I think that's really cool. And I was shooting that without any ear pro on, and that's pretty good. R45, it was approved in 6 days. Battle Bean got the Yankee Hill Machine R45. That's cool. I haven't done much with Yankee Hill Machine. In the day, they were known for rifles primarily, and now they're really head first into suppressors. So I think that's pretty cool. Didn't even see a shotgun advertised on YouTube. I think a lot of my stuff is getting hidden because my last couple of videos have totally tanked. And it's not that I think I should be awesome and get 50,000 views a video, but when I'm struggling to get 3,000, that's not right. That ain't right. We got Ram in the house. He says he thinks companies are jumping on the can wagon. I like that. Nice play on words. And get ahead of the curve, but I still think people are skeptical about waiting about owning one. I get that point. I'm just, suppressors, if you have an outdoor range, well, or an indoor, it doesn't matter, and you're going to wear ear pro no matter what you do, some people just say, yeah, it's fine for other people. I have no interest in them. Same with 2011s. Some people just don't care, and other people are really into them. I think they're starting to die down a little bit. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not sure, but it just seems to me that, like many things, some of those are $4,000 plus, and then you see the others are in the budget category. You got Bursa doing it, you got Gearson doing it, you've got Live Free Armory with the Apollo 11. There are some others out there that are inexpensive. I'm waiting for Ruger to get in on it. We'll see. Cheap, reliable 2011. I used to say the Live Free Armory Apollo 11, but I've been having some issues lately, both with primer strikes and ejection. So I took it back. I cleaned it up really well, went back to the range. It seemed to help a little bit. I will tell you this. You cannot run a 2011 with that heavy slide, only using the 9mm dirty. You just can't do it. You can't do it. It will slow down that slide and create both jams and failure to feeds because the slide won't retract all the way. Anyways, what does Rum say? He wants a 10mm that's not a Glock. Get a 1911, man. I'd like to see a 2011 in a 10mm. They may be out there already. What's up says Gearsound are cheap and reliable. Yeah, I had one problem recently. I had to send it back. They got it back. I've got it with me. I'm going to take it out tomorrow, see how it's doing. It's the Brat in 45. That's a cool little gun, but the slide's stuck on it. I couldn't get this thing open, man. This slide was just stuck, and I set it in there. Let's see. Which do you believe is a better option for EDC? Canic, MC9 Prime, or the Smith & Wesson M&P 9X? Well, the Shield X I haven't even checked out yet. I haven't got my hands on that. It seems pretty cool, but I haven't come across it. If I tried hard, I could get it. I just haven't really tried. I just didn't see it as being a super big deal. We got Mike in there, says, hey there, friends. Thanks for checking in. All right. So we got decent crowd here. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'm on the YouTube app, which is different than StreamYard. Trying to see what the differences are. So far, not much. The main difference is I used to be able to double click a comment and it would show up in the lower left-hand corner, and now I can't. Let's see. My favorite 10mm striker fire Springfield XDM compact. Yeah, I've got that. I've got the Elite model. That thing is awesome. When I had it, it came with a Hex Wasp or the Hex. What is it? The Hornet, the Wasp. I can't remember, but yeah, that optic died. That optic died. Henry Big Boy is sweet. Yeah, for sure. Henry makes some beautiful rifles. All right. Well, I touched on 2011s. One of the things I've noticed is 2011's was surging for about 3 years. And then I noticed they've kind of fallen back a little bit. I thought there would be another surge in revolvers. I still think that's possible. I think there are certain people who are revolver people and others who are of the opinion, well, it's not enough rounds, doesn't offer quick reloads like a mag-fed semi-auto. I get all that, but there's something about a revolver, I will tell you. And when I got my last revolver, man, I was so happy. I got the Smith & Wesson Model 19-5. It is a 1988 edition. All right. Steve got the Colt King Cobra 357 Magnum. Love it. Love it. When Colt first came out with those, they made the trigger too light, and the if you had a round with a tough primer, you had a lot of primer strikes not firing. Revolver's hard to shoot. Not in single action. Single action. No doubt about it. All right, what else we got going on here? I can see TAB likes his Smith & Wesson 2.0, 4.6, and 10 millimeter. I've shot that. Very cool. Original Colt King Cobra. The original Colts are pretty awesome. They are, and some people will say the mass machine ones have better longevity compared to the hand fitted, hand polished, hand assembled. I know a lot of every firearm is hand assembled. All you have to do is take a look at, you go through a factory tour, which I've been through a couple, you see these people, they're just, they got these little tools, they're putting little springs and pins and this and that all together. A lot of firearms are hand assembled. Surplus rifles. Whatever happened to the Mosin Nagant? I predicted it many years ago. Once I owned 5 or 6 of those, and I had everything from the long barrels with the hex barrels and some unique ones. Now to just get a basic Mosin that used to be $65 at a sporting goods store is now over $300. I predicted that about 10 years ago. I said, these are surplus, but they're not always going to be. And the ammo skyrocketed. I think a lot of that had to do with not getting that Russian ammo in those spam can with 440 rounds. You look at the ammo cost of 7.62 54R, they're expensive. Yep. M. Gabriel says, Dan, freaking ads running on your live stream. I didn't know that. This is, like I said before, I am on the YouTube. I did not experience this before. I did not know ads were running. I don't have a clue of that. I didn't set it up. I didn't do anything. YouTube is doing that on their own. So I could see some hearts being, how about that? Okay, so I'm learning some new things with this YouTube app, live stream app. I don't know if I like it better or worse or what. But we got 53 people in the house. Good to see everybody here. Anything for me? G-Force Exodus. What's your thoughts? I really don't know. I don't know. Sorry, Daniel. I'm not sure. Let's see. Dan, what do you think of the G-Force Exodus? Yeah, Daniel, I'm really not sure. We've got, Taurus is interesting. Some people, they love them or hate them. Love them or hate them. I'm in the middle. I think they put out some real nice ones, like the G3. G3 Tactical is pretty awesome. But then they put up that GX2. I don't know. But the G3 is good. G3 Tactical is even better. Taurus does a very nice job with making optics install friendly. They do a fine job with that, I will tell you. They do, and the way they did it with that 22 competition they have, TX22 competition, they put it on the hood of the barrel. That's pretty ingenious. All right. You got the new Taurus pistol caliber carbine. Shot show. Okay. Steve likes it. G2C. Yeah. G3 tactical. What about the Grizzly from Bear Creek Arsenal? Has anybody shot that? The Bear Creek Arsenal Grizzly? All right. Goodbye likes the TH9. Yeah, I had that once. I didn't. It wasn't for me. I've got a new launch tomorrow, fellas. Stay tuned for a new launch. Bear Creek Rose. Yeah, so I got this new launch going on tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how it does. I tell you what, man. Uh, YouTube could be very painstaking. Sometimes you may put up 5, 6, 7 videos and get one that you'd call a win. And it's interesting because you base your win on the view count. And the win should be as to what the creator thinks is the video. If they look at that and say, I'm pretty proud to have that on my channel. I think I did good work on this. I really worked hard. That should be the win, but it's not. It's the view count. Hit that like button if you will. Get on that algorithm. Hello from Springfield, Missouri. Prop Doctor is there. Yeah, man. Missouri, beautiful state. I can't say I've been all throughout it, but it is a beautiful state. From what I've seen, I was in Kansas City, Missouri. Beautiful area. Spent some time there. Where else? I went to an academy, which I've never been to. I don't see them in Ohio or Michigan. And so that place was pretty cool. It's like most outdoor stores, a lot of clothing, a lot of shoes, guns and ammo as well. Ash Royer. Ash Royer asked me, how's Ohio? Ohio's good. I like it. It's funny because when I lived here in Michigan, which is where I'm at now, I used to get so upset. I'd watch the news, I'd read an article, and and there'd be some type of legislation being passed, and it would really irritate me because it was all liberal driven. Not the people. I'm not saying the people of Michigan are, but the current politics are. And now I'm in Ohio. Everything I read that's going on at the state level, I agree with. And it seems like everything that I really agree with, the governor signs into law. And the Republicans have a pretty strong hold on both chambers of the state house and Senate, as well as the governor's office. So it's very conservative. And they're saying now that it's a ruby red state. It used to be a swing state. Now it's a ruby red state. So I'm digging it. I like the range I go to. I like the people I've met, even though it hasn't been a ton. It's been quite a few. I've been there a year now. So yeah, Ohio's good, man. I recommend it. The weather's not much different from Michigan, but I knew that going in. I only moved an hour south. But you can get more house for the money. Ann Arbor went down the drain for sure. Glad you got out at a good time. Yeah, here in Oregon, oh yeah, Oregon. Oh man. Democracy is messing up Oregon. The gun guy behind that channel, Mark, loves revolvers and shotguns. Yeah, it's a cool dude. All right, North Dakota's represented in the house. We've got a whole bunch of. That's one of the cool things is you can get on a live here, and it can join people who would never cross paths. Even if it's on a live stream like this, pretty cool. Portland is horrible. Drew says, yeah. Well, I tell you, it would be a good place to move. Indiana. Indiana has some beautiful areas. I mean, every state has beautiful areas. Don't get me wrong, even Oregon. But so actually, a lot of Oregon is really beautiful. Can't say I've been there, but I know people who have been there, and they say the state's actually beautiful. It's almost like Illinois. Illinois has some gorgeous areas, just pristine, clean, everything. But their problem is Chicago, and that's where the population votes for. They'll always be Democratic. I thought Michigan was going that way, but I'm hoping it'll turn over. Mutar's in Indiana currently. Taylor Tucky, Jeff Wallen. Yeah, man, Taylor. Know a lot about that city. Did not live far away. I actually like Taylor better than it was in the 80s. In the 80s, it was bad. There was a lot of government housing. Probably still is some. I think every area has some, but that government housing, they called it Sin City. And it was this huge apartment complex. And you'd have to be careful, man. Just even walking around. If you knew somebody lived there, they lived in Sin City. It was bad. I'm in Indiana, been here 25 years from Chicago. Wow, good move, Jay. Arizona, quite possibly the best kept secret. I don't think it's a secret. I think Arizona has grown a lot. You're getting a lot of the runoff from California, turning that state to the blue column in some cases. But no, I've been to Arizona once, loved it. I went to Gunsight Academy in Arizona. I got some training there. It was on a Remington gig back when they were trying to get their feet back into solid ground in the gun world. I was there. Man, those are some good people. And all I heard online was, oh, the Freedom Group. Well, they went to, they tried to get out of it. They were too far gone. Oh, stranded New Yorker checking in from North Carolina. All right, Quinn's from North Carolina. Good to see everybody. Yeah, man, hit that like button. Hopefully, we can get some more people in here. Doing okay, though. Good crowd. So I touched on suppressors. It seems like a lot of people are not super thrilled, even with the tax stamp gone. I don't know. I've got three now. I've got a 22, a multi-caliber, and a shotgun. I kind of want to be the guy that has a suppressor live on a rifle. I don't want to change it in and out. If I have a certain rifle, a certain suppressor, the easiest way to do that is just get direct thread and just thread it on and keep it there. Or you can get an ASR mount, quick on and off, but those cost $100 each. You have to install them on there. It's $100 each. Looks like any other flash hider, but you can, get 3/4 of a turn, lock your suppressor in, and you're good. But yeah, I'd like to get especially some rifles, because if you have your rifle zeroed at certain distances with a scope, not a dot, but a scope, and you go to reach out, those distances are not what they once were when you put a suppressor on. It's less. You have to re-zero your optic, your dope. Data observed by perceptive impact observation. I do believe that's what it is. Enemy behind lines, Northeast Michigan. Good to see you, Dan. Good to see you, Todd. Yeah, I lived in Northeast Michigan for many years. Yeah, I liked it there. I was getting sick of the politics, so. Yeah, 308, good, no doubt. I have three 308s. I love each one of them with their own personality. I have a bolt action. I have the Ruger S-Fire, so it's an AR-like, and I have an AK. It's a Vepr AK 308. So I have an AK, an AR, and a bolt action. Doing pretty good with 308, I'd say. Yes, sir. What else we got there? A little side chat going here. Getting back to revolvers, are there any people in the chat who have a revolver and absolutely will not get rid of it because that is their revolver and they love it? Because I have no problem getting rid of a revolver that's just well, like a Taurus revolver. Okay, not to knock Taurus, but they don't have a long history of awesome revolvers like Smith and Wesson and Ruger and Colt has. You know, there's just something about those that a little bit of age behind them adds value. You know, I got the Colt Python, what I say, 1994 model. You know, that's an original. They ceased production in 2004, and in 2002, 2003, 2004, it was special order only for the Pythons. And then they just stopped altogether until about 4 or 5 years ago when Colt decided to bring them back. Well, they brought them back. There were some problems. Brian's got a detective special. Awesome. Yeah, I like that. 38 special. Very nice. 1995 Smith & Wesson 5 with the power port, 44 Magnum. Ooh. Wow, no Hillary hole on that. Super nice. 586, 6-inch barrel, Dakota Bob has. Ruger convertible, single 6. Nice. First generation production. Beautiful. Model 29, 44 Magnum, 1975. If that's in good shape, Jay. Wow. GP 100, 4-inch barrel. Yep, I got that. That thing can handle the hottest loads. Never get rid of it. Yeah, that I'll never get rid of mine either. If I do, man, whew, problems. Self-defense issue, or I was going to say self-defense. Uh, Self-esteem issues. If I get rid of mine, serious self-esteem issues. Drew lost his in a boating accident. Dang, man, those boating accidents. Some people lose guns in boating accidents. I have a riding mower here. I can't get the blades off. I got new blades here. I can't get those blades off. I about wrenched my hands today. I was taking a sledgehammer and trying to beat it down. I could not get those off. Anybody have any advice for that? It's currently on its side out back. All right, so that's what I got going on. I'll be hitting the range with TAB videos tomorrow. Hitting the range. I'm starting to think Texas is reverse threading because I was able to move it ever so slightly, and I thought I was tightening it. It depends on the company that produced it. Be in your area tomorrow. I have a cordless impact gun. Not sure who that is. Yeah, it may be reverse threading. So here I'm trying to loosen it, lefty loosey, and I think I tightened it. So I locked a piece of wood under the deck, and I'm just wrenching on that. Wow, a lot of work. Yeah, man, a lot going on. WD-40. I thought about that too. That thing is so tight. I don't even know if it can penetrate in. Let's see, babe. Favorite PW. Mutar, great question. Like the Delton, got that with an ASR mount. Like the Diamondback, DB15 and like a burnt bronze. That's pretty beautiful. What a trigger on that thing. No riding long. More blades are not reverse threaded. All right, Sammy, thanks. I don't know what to think. I saw some that were reversed, some that it's a Troy built. So I need to figure that out before I start pounding a sledgehammer on a wrench, trying to hold the thing up there and pound it and rip it out with my hand, about killing my hands. What a nightmare, man. Nerds with Guns says he's been a fan for years. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks. And whoever else you subscribe to and still watch, tell them that, man. We the amount of well, I don't want to be a baby. If not reverse thing, try hitting the nut with a torch for a bit. Okay, I can do that. I got a torch here. That's actually a really good idea. Try to break up anything inside the threads. Maybe even some rust, who knows? Let me making some of the solid purchases. Thanks, S.O. Williams. Said a lot of reviews on products led me to make some solid purchases. I appreciate you. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, typically I don't use a product or I don't show a product if I don't use it. I have been running some ads lately, and I have the last couple of years. That was all rather new at the time. I was super nervous to do it when I first started getting into it. But companies are willing to pay for, and I declined so many. Actually, even today on Labor Day, these companies overseas, they don't care. On Labor Day, you think it would be a slow email day. I start getting emails. Oh, we want you to do this. Oh, we think this would be a perfect fit for your channel. But a horrible fit for the channel. Just horrible. Want me to talk about a bunch of stuff that's nothing. A whole bunch of stuff that's nothing. And the Chinese companies with their optics, I tell you, some are pretty good. Some are pretty good. But it seems like they're good with glass. I will say they are good with glass and metal. And the US is good with glass and metal. But Chinese Labor Day holidays in May. Some of you guys know some things. I think, how do these guys know half this crap? I mean, you guys must be great at trivia contests. Talk about Chinese holiday. Uh, no, I don't, Justin. 800 to 1,000 yard range in Lower Michigan. No, I don't. I shot that far. I was in Figure, Tennessee at K&M precision rifle training. That's where I got my training. I wasn't even Chinese wife, Texas. When I went there, I was as green could be in terms of precision shooting. And I learned a lot, and a lot went right over my head. And there were guys that were showing up with, $4,000 rifles they pieced together with 3,500, $4,000 optics. These guys were serious, and I had to be the dumbest guy in the class, but I got through it. I liked it. Daniel says Votattu, surprisingly good optics and good lights. Yeah, I agree with that. I've got some Votattus. Actually, I put a Votattu on my Live Free Armory Apollo 11. I just haven't been able to do much with it because Uh, yeah, I said it earlier, it started failing on me. What's that? Heat it up and rub it with a crayon really good. It melts down and does something to it. That's good advice. Maybe I could do that. Here, just finished mowing the lawn, and Dan is on. Hey, Roman, it's good to see you, sir. 623. So I don't know if that's chapter 6, verse 23. Oh, interesting. Old site. It says it's garbage. It seems like people like it. The people I've spoken with, they really like it. That old site. They contacted me. Old light has been on my case forever to sell those pistol lights. I thought those were, I don't have a problem with it. They were doing torture tests and everything else. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with are the flash sales. And I have no problem with affiliate marketing. If it could save the viewer 10, 15%, and it's a product they want, and they're able to get it through a link that I give them, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem being told what to do and how to do it. And that's what Olight does. Actually, with the O site, they were launching this O site. They said, we're going to send this to you, but you have to, we're launching it on this day. You have to launch it when on our day when we tell you to. I don't have to do anything. I'm out of elementary school. I'm not a high school kid. I don't have to do anything. So I never even bothered with it. I don't bother with the company. If I can get my hands on one, I may do it. But some people really like that old site. But my man just said it's garbage. How long have I had a YouTube channel? Bama asked. Bama Joe Bob. It's been a long time subscriber. I appreciate that. 2011. March of 2011. 14 years. Over 14 years. Isn't that something? No, I've not shot the Mac 9. I have had it in my hand. I do some work with Fin Feather for Outfitters. If you see me, nobody's stealing my videos. That's me on there. I'm helping build up their site. The plan is working. And with that, it's more toward customers. It's customer base. I don't get on their channel and do rants and things, talk about this or that. It's pretty well customer based. Relevant material. I'm not trying to fool the viewer or anything, but it's just featuring the guns that they have. So I own a bunch of guns they don't have. They don't sell. So I don't show them on their channel. What else we got going on here? Yes, Romans chapter 6, verse 23. Let's see what that is then. That'll be easy enough. Stay tuned, guys. Just took me to the verse of the day, which I already read. And we'll go to Romans. Where is it? Here it is. Chapter 6, verse. What verse again? 23, the last chapter of the book. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen to that. Hey, give a thumbs up if you dig that. Yes, I get the Bible app. I read the verse of the day every day. Try to get into the Word. I'm not great at it. Wish I was better. I'll tell you that. I should be. Takes discipline. Anyways, what else we got going on here? Let's see. Talking about optics. We talked about tattoo, O-Sight. Have you noticed the RMR? Never hear about it. Never hear about it. The SRO, $650 SRO. Never hear about it. What are we seeing? Gideon, Swamp Fox, some of Hollison's cheaper models. Some of the Hollison's skyrocketed in cost. Good grief. They really got expensive. Some are $450, $500. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it sort of defeats the purpose of why. It reminds me of Canik. Canik used to be such bargain priced handguns. And then okay, we got some thumbs up to that Bible verse. Dig it. We got Hollison used to be the in-between, from the cheap CV life to the RMR. Hollison sort of hit that medium. And what do we have? We have Hollison skyrocketing the same way Canik did when they came out. Canik had the TP9 $300 gun. $300 gun. People are saying this is the best $300 gun I've ever gotten. Had to be 10, 12 years ago. And what do we see now? $600, $700, $800 Canics. That is not that different than the original. I was around for that, guys. I remember clear as day. You know, and we got SP out of the house. Spin Firearms. He said that Smith & Wesson stay so cheap. Smith & Wesson, Ruger, they are some of the biggest manufacturers in the world. I would guess it's probably Ruger. SIG is up there, but they're losing military contracts. A lot of heat going on there. But SIG is up there for sure. You've got FN with a lot of military contracts, but you have Smith & Wesson and Ruger. And if you look at those companies, they sell semi-autos, they sell revolvers, they sell shotguns, they sell rifles. They have all different variations of all different kinds. You go to SHOT Show and you just look at their inventory. Some better than others. You know, you look at the GP100, solid built revolver, and then you look at their polyframe 38 specials. You know, it's not even comparable, but the price dictates that as well. But you see some of Smith and what they have going on with their huge selection of revolvers, semi-autos. Now they've got everything going in ports. Haven't seen that in Ruger yet. I don't think. Have we seen a ported Ruger? Maybe they're staying away from that. But we're not seeing a Ruger 2011 either. I think the closest they got to that is probably the Ruger American Competition, which is a nice handgun, by the way. Ruger American Competition is a nice one. I think a lot of people are sleeping on that. The Ruger American series is good, fellas. So, what else we got going on? 2011s. I think people are they either have their 2011. It's like an AK. You get an AK, you love your AK. You say, I'm good. I got my AK. I'm all set. X39, I'm good. Many people feel that way with their 308s. They say that with their revolver, or not their revolver, their rifles. They like their rifles. You know, they're different kinds, different things you could do with them. But for the most part, you know, 5.56, they like their 5.56. But there's something about a revolver. I don't know what it is, man. I sometimes I just look at my revolvers, I play with them and say, I love it. Just love it. My old plain face says, hey there, friends. All right. TSUS and G-Force are going to be the next Canic. Well, you know what's interesting? You get some of these new guns. Now, the Glock copies are getting old, okay? And it's been, but I think they're here to stay. If they become the next Canic, okay, SAR kind of put a dent in Canic as far as popularity goes. And now TSUS is doing the same thing. But if they become the next Canic, somebody new startup, whatever, then what do? They say we're onto something here. Now we have to hire another engineer. We have to expand our line. Now we have to get into marketing. We have to hire some people here. We have to invest into engineering, invest into marketing, invest into tooling and machining. What does that mean? Well, we're going to put out some new guns, but we can't charge them too cheap or we're going to do nothing but lose money. Plus, we have salaries to pay. Plus, we expanded our building, you know. And I get it. Being a business owner for over 25 years, I get it. Running a business costs money. It's more stressful than most 9-to-5 jobs. I say 9-to-5, that's so slang, but you know, most running a business, everybody says, well, why does the CEO make all that money. You know how much stress a CEO takes on? The decisions that he makes could get him fired instantly, lose millions on a bad decision. Look at Cracker Barrel. Look at that whacked out lady that wanted to go woke with Cracker Barrel, a country themed restaurant going woke. Makes no sense. Look at Bud Light, that whacked out lady. You know, Bud Light, hey, the working man beer, you know, real soft, tastes like water, light beer. You know, they want to go woke on it. Running a company is keeps people up at night. I tell you what, guys, I was in the rental business for 25 years. I currently have only one property. I had 7, and then I had 2 properties of my own. Right now, I have a total, and that was 9. That's 9 roofs, 9 furnaces, 9 water heaters, 9, you name it, windows. I mean, it got so stressful. I spent many sleepless nights. Josh just asked what I did. I just mentioned it. I landlorded. I had 5 rental. Well, I had 7 rental homes. I now have 1, so I'm still in the rental business, but I have long-term tenants who have been great. And man, I tell you what, if you really want to learn about people, you're not going to do it on YouTube. If you really want to know what you're up against with people, run a business. Run a business, and you will see. It's all. Let me tell you, it's like this. It's like this. If you've ever coached a sport at a high level, okay, I coached some high level ice hockey. All right, well, it was high school, but some of the best in the state of Michigan. All right, I had some great teams, solid program. It was built from the ground up. I was the head coach, but there were other people involved who did some heavy lifting, but I was the head coach. I will tell you that when you play the sport versus when you coach the sport is very different. When you play the sport, you enjoy the sport. You enjoy because you love the sport. When you coach the sport, there are times you just don't like the sport. It's all about managing. It's managing people. It's managing systems. It's managing your assistant coaches. It's managing. It's stressful, and you literally lose the love of the sport. And everybody thinks they can do it. Everybody thinks they can coach. I remember Scotty Bowman with the Detroit Red Wings came up with a system called the left wing lock. The left wing lock. It became popular. Oh, everybody's doing the left wing lock. So everybody knew what the left wing lock was. It reminds me of the way liberals were with bump stocks after the Vegas shooting. Everybody became an expert on bump stocks. They never held one, they never shot with one, and they would come up to me, liberals who knew me in my circle. I don't keep many liberals in my circle, I'll tell you that, okay? But they would say, well, what do you think about the bump stocks? I'd like to know what you think about the bump stocks, because the bump stocks do this. And they really don't know. And you lose the love of a business when you get knee deep with people. And here's a good example. We're talking about guns. You love guns, and you say, I want to be around guns. I want to work with guns. I want to work in a gun store. I'll do it part-time because, I'll just be a gun store clerk, but I'll be around all these guns and so forth. And then you get customers coming and going. And all of a sudden, it's not about guns. It's about dealing with this idiot who wants to handle all the guns and flag everybody in the store and do all this and then try to beat you up on price. It's about some other fool butting into a sale. You got a sale going on. You think it's a good sale. It's going to fit the person and everything. And some other idiot comes up and says, why are you getting that? You need to get a Glock. The customer says, oh, really? And you just lost any credibility, even though you tried your hardest with that person. Well, that's what it's like renting houses. When you rent houses, you say, I love real estate. I want to be a part of real estate. I want to do this. And then there are people that are just, they're unbelievable. And everybody's heard a horror story. Everybody's heard a horror story of a landlord out there who had a property that got destroyed. They heard about it. But when you hear about it and you say, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I can't believe people actually live that way. That's one thing. But when you're directly involved and you look at this and you look around and you get, it's like the smell that's in there and the visuals, and you just see money going from your bank account just to get this thing, you lose your love for real estate. It's the same way you lose your love for the sport over time, because it's not about the sport, it's about managing. You know, it's the same way you may not lose your love for guns, but you lose your love for the gun business by working at a gun store and dealing with people. It's very difficult. And so you think about what a CEO does. They take on a lot. How many people here think Glock went gun control? Does anybody think that Glock went gun control? Have you guys even heard that? Josh has to stay out of the gun stores on payday. Does anybody think Glock went gun control? Do a poll. Let me see if I know how to do this. This is my first time on the YouTube app. Let's see. Community moderation. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I usually use StreamYard. I'm trying this as something different. The reason I ask that is because apparently Glock and these Glock switches that some people are using and some people are finding themselves behind bars for using them. Very illegal to convert any firearm into full auto. Well, apparently Glock shared some information about how the switches work in their guns. And that information got out, and people are saying, well, look at this now. Glock is going woke. And because they shared information of how their guns work and how those Glock switches can turn one of their firearms into full auto, I don't think that, in my opinion, that is not going woke. Going woke would be more like, well, Liberty Safe, keeping the codes of every safe out there and sharing that with the ATF. Okay, something like that. Something like EOTech, who donated to Dianne Feinstein when she was alive, and many other anti-gun liberals to keep government contracts. You know, they want to keep their government contracts. In order to do that, you have to donate thousands and thousands of dollars to their campaign to keep these idiots in, who's going to fight against your cause, but you want to keep your government contract. That's a tough balance, man. I mean, it's not right. But I'm telling you, these companies that have government contracts, they live and die off those government contracts. They lose those government. You watch SIG's losing government contracts. You're going to hear about SIG doing layoffs left and right. They're going to have to. They're going to have to slow down production. They're going to have to cut down on their service department. They're going to have to get rid of a bunch of people they had. And then what's going to happen? They're going to spend more time marketing with the civilian market if they lose their government contracts. Now, the government contract that's already contracted, but when it comes up for renewal, if they don't get it, which it's not looking good, then you can expect that to happen to SIG. You can't blame the employees. You know, that's like people. I don't know. It seems to me that SIG could have been more forthright. They did say we have a voluntary. We don't think there's a problem, but we're offering a voluntary recall. Okay, we're not putting out a recall, but if you want this thing serviced, we'll check it out. We'll fix it up. We'll send it back to you. All right. Some people did it. Some people didn't. I had a P320 at the time. I didn't do it. Okay, the same way I didn't register with the ATF over Biden's ATF pistol brace rule. All right, I'm so glad I didn't do that, and I kept my braces on my pistol caliber pistols, whatever. All right, what else we got going on here? So people think that Glock went woke by sharing that information. I don't think that's the case, because if they can prevent people from going to jail by doing this, that's not going woke. That they're protecting their customers who bought a Glock, and Glock might be saying, look, you shouldn't be doing this. Okay. And if you do, you may spend 5 years in the clink. And I watched a video today by Masad Ayub, and he made a good point. He said, I've got God-given rights. I've got the Constitution is my concealed carry permit. I choose how I'm going to protect my family. You're going to do a pretty bad job doing that, protecting your family when you're in jail. Okay. So to say that Glock went woke on this, I just don't see it. Now, I don't have all the information, but from what I can see on that, I just don't see it. And so what happens? You have the gun community out there who are just waiting with pitchforks. They're waiting with pitchforks to go after anything that they think is an infringement. And the companies plural that are producing all these firearms that we want and we say we need for self-protection and carry, these companies, they say one little thing that's misunderstood, and we run out and we grab our pitchforks and we say, where are they? Let's hunt them down and kill them. And I just don't buy into that mindset. There's always more to this. You ever see your buddy getting divorced? Okay, your buddy's getting divorced. You know the family, and the guy says, you know what? Me and Susie were divorcing. And let me tell you why. And he goes off for 45 minutes and talks about how horrible Susie is and how horrible she probably is. Okay, honestly, probably is. All right, I'm so sick of the women being so awesome all the time. But then you go home and you talk to your wife and you say, I was just talking to my buddy, and man, Susie, really, they're divorcing. And she says, well, I just hung up the phone with Susie, and did you hear what Bob is doing? Did you hear what Bob did? And you say, well, no, he didn't tell me. Of course he didn't tell you that, because there's more to the story. And yet you formed an opinion. You may have. I don't blame you for dumping her. Get rid of her. She did and said that. I would never put up with that until you hear what the other guy did, and vice versa. Women are great. They go to the workplace and say, oh, I'm divorcing my husband, my husband, my husband. And all these women are like, oh, your husband's so horrible. And I see the way she acts at the workplace and says, I could marry you. Look at the way you act around here. You're flirting with some of the dudes here, and you're married. Now you're complaining about him. If you're like that at work, what do you like at home? And that's how we treat our firearm manufacturers. Some of our favorite ones. We grab our pitchforks and say, "Let's get them." They're going woke. These guys aren't going woke. They're in the gun business. Now, who am I thinking of? Crazy. His wife was really involved with She was heavily in. This guy owns. I can't even think of the name of the place. What is it? It's such a common thing too. My mind's going blank. I got all worked up. But his wife got involved with anti-gun groups all over Facebook. Give me a minute here. I cannot believe it'll come to me in a minute. But his wife now this guy is in the business of producing guns. Okay. I want to say Davidson's. It's not Davidson's. They make rifles. Who is it? Somebody help me out here. I'm having a total brain fog. Anyhow. And it gets out that his wife is donating money. So this guy's producing and selling rifles, and his wife is actively donating some of the rifle money. Okay, your money's my money's my money kind of thing. Actively donating to groups that are fighting against his business. Now that would be divorce material. That would be bad. I'm going to work every day, running this company, trying my hardest to produce guns for people for whatever purpose they want it for, and you're donating the money that I'm earning to these groups who I hate. Oh man, and it got out. But I can't blame the owner. I can't blame. And he made a statement, hey, you know what? My wife's going to do what she's going to do. I'm going to look something up because this is killing me. What the heck is going on? Total brain fog. They make the H9. What's that company that makes the H9? This is killing me. Somebody's going to put it out there now that I said that. Usually something leaves my mind, and Daniel Defense. That's it. Thank you. Whew. Yeah, the owner of Daniel Defense, if you look that up, his wife was belonging to groups that fought against our rights. And what did the gun community do? Grab their pitchforks. Like, she's her own person, but to be public about it, even be private about it, doesn't seem like a match made in heaven to me. So, anyways. Oh, what else do we got here? Thank you for that Daniel Defense thing. I was coming with Davidson's, just kept sticking in my mind, and I couldn't believe that. Fix Nicks. Ooh, supported Fix Nicks. That's interesting. I tell you who I can't stand is the owner of Dick's Sporting Goods. That guy, you want to talk about a turncoat liberal. What a jerk. He Dick's Sporting Goods it's hardly a sporting goods. It's a clothing store. Now, in all fairness, so is Cabela's, Bass Pro. The majority of stuff is clothing, but they sell a lot of guns, ammo, gear, knives, holsters. They sell a lot of hunting stuff, a lot of fishing stuff, bikes, all kinds of things like that. But what that guy did back, I don't even know, 10 years ago, he said, I'm getting rid of all my rifles. And not only am I getting rid of them, I'm not going to sell them to another company or anything. I'm going to have them destroyed, and I'm going to scrap the metal. All right, fine. You take the loss. All right, you do that. Then he proceeded to go on to Washington. Now, this is a guy that sold rifles and other firearms. Proceeded to go to Washington and politic against assault rifles. Oh, the assault rifles, we need to get rid of them. You were selling them. And now all of a sudden you find it more advantageous to to be Mr. Do-Gooder and say, I'm going to make this world a better place, you're helping nobody. And man, I was hoping they would go under, but they didn't, obviously. I haven't heard Ruger buyout. Ruger bought Anderson Machine. Ray asked if Ruger bought them out. Ruger bought Marlin. Ruger. I tell you what, fat pockets with Ruger. Big fat pockets with Ruger. Yeah, Dakota Bob. I pretend it doesn't exist either. I really, really dislike Dick's Sporting Goods. Can't stand them. Dunham's maybe a horrible place to buy guns, but pretty good place to buy a gun cabinet. They call them safes. They're gun cabinets. Real safes are not priable. You can't saw into them, real thick steel. But Dunham's has, if you're patient, you have your eye on one. They run these flash sales every week, and you can get a steal of a deal. That's what I did when I moved. I brought 3 safes with me, and I bought 3. I need another one. I'll probably get it at Dunham's, honestly. I'll wait for one of those flash sales and just go buy it and load it up and take it home. America's Rifle, 15. Yes, sir, Savage Lee. Yeah. I don't know, guys. So people think Glock is gone all in liberal by sharing how these Glock switches work and trying to keep their customers out of prison. It'd be one thing if they said, well, we've been watching and these are the guys that are doing it. That would be bad. I'd grab my pitchfork for that one. But video showing a rifle. People think it's an assault rifle. It's actually just a rifle. Yeah. Modern sporting rifle. But my brother-in-law was over the other day, and I was showing him inside some of my safes, and he goes, wow, you got a lot of assault rifles. And I told him, I said, don't say that. Please don't say that. And he said, what do you mean? I said, it's not called that. That's a made-up term by the media and liberal politicians. Just say rifle. He goes, what should I call it? I said, just say rifle. He's not going to remember modern sporting rifle, okay, MSR. He's not going to know what that is, but he could say rifle and just delete assault. And so he said, I saw a lot of guns. I don't remember one of them, but I remember not to say the word assault rifle. He said something else I had to correct him with. Ghost guns, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Go out to the chat here. What do we got going on? And Roman said, anyone just get Dan's broadcast cut in by a commercial? Yeah, somebody mentioned that earlier, that ads are popping in and through this live stream. I have nothing to do with that. I can't set it up. I didn't know that was happening. I don't know if it happens like that on StreamYard. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of weird. This is the YouTube app. I decided to learn this and try to go with this because in the past I used StreamYard. But anyways, YouTube Premium, no ads. Hey, Rum, how much does that cost a month? I don't know. Might be worth it. It happened like 3 times. Wow. And I imagine it never happened on StreamYard. They're running mid-live stream ads. The screen on my end doesn't even blink. Doesn't even blink. StreamYard doesn't do it, I think, but not 100%. Well, nobody's ever mentioned it to me or in the live chat that $10 a month for YouTube Premium. Apparently, Road King, $15 a month. He has YouTube Premium. So I guess it's sort of like if you're grandfathered in at a certain rate, that's what you pay. All right. What else going on? Anybody have a topic they want to discuss? If not, I'll shut this thing down. You're not the only one live ads pop up on. Well, that's comforting. I figured that. This is actually easier to use than StreamYard. It's all set up. The StreamYard came around when YouTube they introduced it. It became a big thing, and then people were using it a lot. And then they said, you know what, we're done with this. I don't know why. I don't know why they. And so they got involved with StreamYard, some other ones. It was really a science to try to get into a live stream. I tried, failed, and just gave up on it. And until about a year, I've been doing this. Anyhow, and then they came up with their version again, and it's actually easier to use than StreamYard. StreamYard allows you to fix your background, and this might be able to do that. I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't care. Show your support for the firearm guy. It's got a button here, plus button, engage with your audience. I am engaging with my, let me click this just to see what happens. Oh, here we go. Start a poll. All right. Let's see. Create a poll. All right. Let me ask a question. Oh, this is yes, no. All right. What do you guys think? I'm going to create a poll here. Let's try this. All right, so I just started a poll. And oh, interesting. So I take it the poll is front and center on your screen. Just get a third yay. So far, 65% say yes. And there's a goal here. Oh, super chats. I could never do that. My goal is for all of you to donate $10. And then once you donate $10, I'll turn around and pull my pants down and moon my camera so you could all see my ugly fat butt. How about that? I could never. These people who do that, they make a live chat and they beg for money the whole time. Oh my gosh. 61% say yes. Oh, got some Revolver folks in the house. New Taurus 817. Any thoughts? Is it new to Taurus or is it old production but new to you, Dave? Oh, excuse me. Always appreciate thumbs up button. E-begging. Yeah, e-begging is how embarrassing. Hey, it's funny. Sometimes I just scroll on my phone and I scroll through these lives and these people are like they'll put a piece of tape over their mouth and say, "I'm not talking until I reach X amount of dollars." It's like, oh my gosh. It's like have some dignity. All right, so 59% answered yes, revolvers were the most innovative firearms ever produced. All right, I dig it. Oh, now 58%. Last chance before I end this poll. That was actually pretty fun. I might do another poll. All right, 58% said yes. Let's see. I'll do one more poll. 57, 42, 33 votes. All right, let me create another poll here. Let's see. We got 52 people in the house. We had 33 votes. Let's see if we can get a couple more votes here. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. All right. Yes, no. Boom. There's the next one. Let's see if we can get. Ooh. Looks like just now we got 22 votes, and by and large, the no's have it by 83%, 80% to 20%. 25 votes in. We have to get more than 33 that we had last time. 33 is not stellar with over 50 dudes in the house. 80-20, sticking at 25. 26 votes. 81%. No, that's a blowout. Interesting. See, now I don't know how to do that on StreamYard, so that's pretty cool. AR play. Yeah, I voted no on that. I love AKs. I've got 3 of them. But ARs, there's just so much more you can do with them. Yeah, 7.62 39. Yeah, it's a superior round. But the 5.56, I mean, it can go a long way. Well, longer than 300 blackout, which is a heavier bullet. 83-12%. Wow, that's landslide. That's a landslide, boys. Okay, the AR can actually survive after the mud. Never. I'm not surprised, but I've never done that. All right, let me end this poll. 31 votes. We're getting less, not more. Yeah, that was a landslide. Yep, 80% no, 19% yes, 31 votes. Wow. I don't know if you guys get that stat there. Let's see. I'll do one more poll. Let's see. All right. All right. Here's another yes no poll. Oh, apparently I can't vote. How do I get the results? Okay, we got 17 votes in. Somebody tell me if you can see the results, or if I'm the only one that has. Josh put yes because he knows nothing about either. Okay, you can see the results. All right, cool. Yeah, no winning by a lot, 22 votes. Interesting. What would you vote for? I said yes, because TSUS makes 1911s, they make 2011s, they make a 2011 and 38 Super. They're just more vast. Now, that Canic all steel TP9, I want that. I want that big time. But, it's $900. But I want that. Canic is top tier. Well, the prices too. I don't know. I'm a little salty on Canic. I have to admit, guys. I was there when they were budget handguns. They're not. They're not. And some say, well, some of them are. Well, not like they once were. And yes, I went through some rant earlier about, as they grow, they have to keep going. They have to, strike when the iron's hot. They have to keep going. That means they need to hire more people, come up with more ideas, expand facilities, better machinery, newer stuff, retool, blah blah blah. Costs money. Even marketing alone costs a fortune. You have to have a marketer. You may have to have a whole team of marketers. Their only job is to contact people like me and say, "Hey, will you feature this?" Uh, Leveled out a little bit, but still pretty one-sided. People love Canic. That's a fact. All right, so no takes it with this, 27 votes, and we'll end that poll. Yeah, I'm a little salty on Canic. I don't know. I have two of them. They have some guns I'd really want. I took no interest. It seemed cool, but that Terran Tactical TTI, TP9 TTI, whatever they called it, I took no interest in that. And a lot of people said they didn't like it. I've heard several, several people uh, badmouth that TTI combat. Salty, did you sell the CC9? No, Mutar, I didn't sell the CC9. I probably will, but I know immediately I'm going to take a huge loss on it. But that's a price I'm willing to pay. You know what's interesting? When you knock a gun And people love the brand. Okay, they may not know anything about the gun. At this point, very few people have the HKCC9. Does anybody in the house have the HKCC9? I would be interested to know. But people love the brand. So say I knock the Canik TTI Combat. All right, I knock it. But yet you never shot that gun. You may have seen it, but you're a huge fan of Canik. You immediately want, not you, but people immediately want to defend the brand. Well, you don't know what you're talking about because every Canik I own runs flawlessly, blah, blah, blah. True, but you don't know about this one. Okay? And that's what I got. People who love HK said, well, you don't know what you're talking about because I had the VP9 and it fired every round I put through it, including steel case. That thing just keeps running. Well, I got the VP9 too. I don't recall ever having a problem with the VP9. The CC9 is no VP9. Okay, there's a big difference there. And if you can't see it, and you don't even have to take my word for it. I don't give a crap if you take my word for it or not. But you can't say every HK I own performed great, so therefore you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. I shot the gun, and so you can defend the brand, but if somebody's knocking a gun and you never shot the gun, you could talk about the brand. The thing would say, well, that's really a bummer that you don't like it because I've got this and I've got that and it's performed great and I love HK, I love HK, but I had so many people say, you know what, Dan? My buddy has one, I shot it, neither of us liked it. I'm like, okay, finally, somebody with some experience, somebody else may get the CC9 and love it. I actually liked it at the gun store. I said, you know what? I like the trigger on this. I like the size of this. It's a little more expensive, but hey, we're talking HK. All right. And then I found out I didn't like it at all. Went back to the range. I liked it even less. So I'm probably going to try it one or two more times, and then it's gone because you know what? I could sell that and then go for that Canik TP9 steel frame. That thing is, whew, I really fell in love with that. You know what I fell in love with more? The SIG X5, the SIG X5. Not the Legion, but the other one. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, that thing was gorgeous. It's about $1,500. So I want it. But anyhow, where do you sell stuff? I'm struggling a little bit in Ohio and Michigan. When you move out of state, a lot of guys here, you may have moved out of state. Some people never did. When you move out of state, you lose your mechanic, your favorite doctors, lose your special the place that you have to go for pizza, the place you have to go for the bacon cheeseburger. You lose all that. You'll get it back, but it takes time. Okay. When I got my shotgun suppressor, I really had trouble getting fingerprints. It was very, very difficult. I drove 20 and 30 minutes around Ohio going to these fingerprint places who don't answer the phone, by the way, just to hear them say, yeah, we don't do ATF prints anymore. Our machine broke and it's not worth it. It held us up. I had to drive to Michigan to get my fingerprints, right in the same neighborhood I used to live. And that was really difficult. But now I have digital prints. So now I could use digital prints apparently forever. So yeah, it cost me some money to do that. And I still had to pay the $200 tax stamp. The suppressors will get you on the accessories. You know, you need to get this mount. You need to get this piston if you're going to run handgun. You need to get it this. You need to get this adapter. You need to get it here. You need to do this. It's like, man, I just wanted a suppressor. Now I got, in order to get it the way I want it, I got to spend another $500. So he won't answer me. Ask it again. I'm watching. That's another thing. StreamYard, the live chat is easier to read, larger off to the side. What do you say, Luso? Hit me, brother. Perhaps, maybe he's not talking about me. All right, let's do one more poll, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Let's see, question answer. What the heck is this? Say something, question and answer. Nah, I don't want to do that. I'm kind of learning as I go. I'll do one more poll. Somebody give me a question. Suppressor cleaning too. Yeah, that's true too. CC9s for smaller hands. Nah, no different than the P365, Hellcat, Shield Plus. It's right in that same category. Now, I'll be interested. HK makes the CC9X with larger mags and a longer barrel. FN Reflex. Had one in my hand, never shot it. Hammer fired gun. A little weird disassemble if I recall. I heard some people complaining about it. Initially, company had some problems. Nice feel. Felt solid. Most FNs do. Will I buy another SIG? Dual pull on cop or no? Okay, there we go. I'll say port or no port. I already know how. Actually, it's not actually a pull. This is a yes no pull. Okay. I'll just do a yes no pull. I have a good feeling where this is gonna go. What just happened? Oh, I need to get rid of that. Okay. I have a good feeling where I know this is gonna go. And I was right. Nobody knows the TFG audience better than TFG. Oh, it's tightening up. It's close. 25. It's closer than I thought. Ooh, 50-50, boys. Whoever gave me that, I was watching. I didn't see who it was. I just saw it was a great. Yes, took over. 30 votes. We had 58 people in the house. Vote on this. Ooh, no took over. For some reason, I can't vote on it. I would vote yes. Some of the ports are incredible. Oh, we're back to 50-50, 34 votes. Highest vote count yet. It's only 1 minute. I like this poll thing. I think this is pretty cool. I don't know. I may stick with the YouTube app for live stream, maybe StreamYard. Yes is taken with 37. 37 out of 58. Give me 10 more. You're 58 people in this chat. Give me 10 more. If you're not sure, take a guess. Port, decrease the recoil. Some people say that the rifling is affected by it. Some people say, therefore, the accuracy is affected by it. Some people say that it's super loud. If you have to shoot from the hip, you're pointing upward, you're getting that gas in your face. Some are valid points. Some are, I don't think it's really going to matter much. Yes is taking it at 38 votes. I am shocked. Hey, 9mm in the house. All right, I'm going to end that poll. It's a 2-minute poll, and yes won. I thought no would be 38 votes. I thought no would take it, but no did not take it. Yes took it. All right, cool. All right. Yes, I remember Magnaport out of Michigan. Todd asked me if I remember Magnaport. Yeah. Before ports became trendy, Magnaport was there porting handguns and rifles and shotguns, believe it or not. Nobody talks about ports and shotguns, but yeah, that actually is something that Magnaport did. I tell you what, where I'm at now, I brought the Bull Armory TAC 5 Pro with they call it V8 ports. It's got 8 little ports on there. Best 2011 I own. It's dynamo. And I don't have those $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 2011s. The MSRP on this is $2,450. So this is the most expensive by far 2011 I own. Not the most expensive handgun, the most expensive 2011. Now, where the heck did a fly come in here? I have all the windows closed. What I'll do is I'll put the bathroom light on, turn everything else off. That thing will go in there. I'll trap it, and I'll test my reflexes. Here, I have a poll here. This one will be interesting. A yes, no poll. Here you go. Now, there. I'll be interested to see where this falls. We have 60 people in the house. We should have 60 people voting. If you're on your phone, tablet, you just touch it. We got 31 votes. Let me get my vote in. I'm a definite yes. You know what happened though? The one thing that I talked about when you go to a different state, you have to find different everything. I needed readers. I've always worn contact lenses. I went to this eye clinic. Man, this lady checked my eyes. I got the trials. They were off. I'm thinking, what do we got going on here? I went back in. She goes, we always get this. Hang on. Zip, zip. Better, worse, better, worse. All right. They'll be in a couple weeks. They came in a couple weeks. I don't need readers anymore. It's like, it's perfect. It's unbelievable. I never thought that was possible. I am 58 years old. So in the House now, 68% of 38 votes are over 50, 50 or over. 66. And so we got 39. If we get 40, we'll have the highest vote count. It's only been 1 minute. I tell you what, guys. You ever notice, there's still that teenager inside you, that young man still inside you, you know? You think with a more mature way, I hope, try to think what outcomes, if I do or say this, what outcomes can I expect? What is it that I'm going to regret? You think about those things. You don't just act impulsively. You did when you were young. You learn to, I haven't spelled old wrong. You learn to think before you talk. You learn to, you live with enough regrets in your life where you say, okay, if this comes up again, I need to be wise about this and not shoot off my mouth, you know. But also getting up there in age, I'm 58. I remember about 3 years ago, I was bench pressing and I said, man, I can't do what I once did. And I said, well, what do you expect to happen? You can't do what you once did because you don't train the way you once did. Okay, cut this age crap out. You once did a good amount because you trained for that. Now you don't train for it. And that's why you can't do what you once did, period. So I said, okay, once I figured this out mentally, I said, okay, I'm not training for it. That's the problem. So I started training for it. And now I'm doing the exact same thing on the bench. And I'm putting up the same weight I did when I can't even remember, 25, 32, somewhere in that range. So, in my opinion, I'm not slowing down. Why? You know, we're all gonna go, but fight it. 70%. Look at this, 43 votes. 70% are over 50. And then 30%. So we'll get the percentages once I close this poll. Let me go ahead and close. 44 votes. 45 came in. Oh, another under 50. Another youngin'. That guy's 45. He's a young kid. Boy, I don't think I've ever been on a live stream this long. Hour and 44 minutes. It's probably because of these stupid polls. Kind of fun, though. Something I can't do on. Probably can. Little Bomb, he's 49. He said yes. That's fair. You're closer to 50 than not. Well, and somebody else is 72 and they, is over 50. I should say, is there anybody here 25 and younger, I bet the answer would be no. Let's see. All right. All right, fellas. I'm going to end this thing. I certainly enjoyed you guys hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed being here. Thanks for taking part in those stupid polls. 67%. That's over double the people in the house right now are over 50. See, now that's fun. I could do a whole bunch of polls and just do a live stream and do a bunch of polls. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you. God bless you. We are all the firearm guy. Not just me, all of us. And today, especially tonight, I enjoyed you being here. And one of the things I try to do, I hope I'm successful, is I try to verbally say and show appreciation to the followers of this channel. And to me, that's important because without you, there's no me doing this. And so if you don't have people watching, people supporting you, you die off. And I have seen that. I've been around long enough. I've seen it. And I've also seen other people enter this whole video space and guns and gear, and they just boom, they take off. And then they can't maintain it. They just can't. They're there, they freak out. But it's been a long time for me, and it's people like you guys who keep me going. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good night, fellas.